Let's go to Richard in Manhattan. Richard.
Oh, here we go. Content.
Oh, well, Richard, let's not go to Richard because we have Carlos Mendoza on with us.
Well, we never get to Carlos.
I don't want Carlos to hear Richard.
No, that would not be good. Carlos, it's Michael, Don, and Peter. How you doing?
Michael, how you doing? Good to have me. Don, Peter, what's up, fellas?
Pleasure, man.
All right, so I've got to ask you this. You started out 12-8. The next 35, you went 10-25. Now you're 15-6. How proud are you of this team, and how did you keep this team together when over that 35-game stretch, that was the worst record in baseball? How did you do it, Carlos?
Yeah, I'm very proud of the team, of the boys, and how they continue to compete, how they continue to, face adversity and continue to move forward, continue to stay positive, just looking for ways to get better as a team in every area. So, yeah, credit to them, credit to the coaching staff, and a lot of people that, behind the scenes are working really hard. So it's good to see the team continue to play well. I'm expecting you, Michael, to stop by my office here at some point, because last time I saw you at my office, that was in London. So,
listen, Carlos, I didn't even want to bring it up, but since you did, everybody's giving Grimace all the credit. Do you realize that after I popped in your office, you guys have hardly lost? I think it's me, frankly.
We'll continue to write whatever it is, Michael. But I'm just saying that you step on my office just to say hi. Obviously, you were doing the ESPN game that day, and man, it was a good game. It was a hell of a game.
Great ending.
Hell of an ending. And and then it was the Grimace, whatever that is. We'll continue the rest of it. I was like, hey, Michael, stop by. I'll see you do MVP.
Well, Carlos, I've been saying I believe that Grimace and Michael Kay have exactly the same amount to do with you being a hot baseman. So that I will stand by.
And they're physically similar also.
Yes.
Well, no, I'm not going to go there. But what's the challenge, Carlos? You come into this season, there's not a lot of expectations outside of the organization. I'm sure you guys had your own expectations. You've got a lot of players that are on one-year contracts. So what is the challenge of trying to just keep everybody, engaged when there's so much thought about 2025, but you've got a 2024 to worry about?
Yeah, look, I never saw it as a challenge. I saw it as a great opportunity, because when I was looking at the roster, and it was, 1 through 26 or the 40-man roster, because, you're going to need 40-plus to get to 162-plus, right? So I was like, man, I get it that the projections and people from the outside are talking about the Mets in the 2025. I was like, screw that, 2024. We have a very good opportunity in front of us to do something special. And obviously, we got off to a rough start. Then we played well, and then we got off to a month of May where it was like, wow, it was hard. But look, man, it's New York, right? But, and when adversity hits, you just got to face it, you got to embrace it, and you got to fight and keep moving forward. And that's what we've done. And proud of the group. It hasn't been easy, and we continue to get the face adversity. But, I'm pretty confident that the guys will get through some of the things that, we're facing right now. And again, going back to your question, I never saw it as a challenge. I saw it as a great opportunity, and here we are, at the end of June, and in a better position now, and I expect for us to continue to play well.
Carlos, how much? This is obviously you're new to the manager game, and it's a new Major League Baseball in terms of the role the manager has. How much talking do you do to the room when the team is in trouble? Do you talk a lot? Give me a little bit of what's your style in the locker room?
Yeah, I'm not a big team meeting guy. I like the one-on-one conversation, small setting, whether it's, the 3-4 leaders of the team from the position player side of things, or the 2 or 3 guys from the pitching staff, the one-on-one. And it happens, informal, whether we're, in the training room, in the weight room, shagging in the outfield, or when guys are taking BP, I'll have some serious conversation on informal settings. Then, yeah, we have the platform or the pitcher-catchers meeting, the hitters meetings every day. If I feel like I need to say something as a group, I'll step in and I'll say what I need to say. But I think it's a combination of both. I think at the end of the day, it's just getting to know your players, your personnel, what makes them tick, and so they know where you're coming from. There's times where I feel like I need to address the whole group, but most of the time it's one-on-one conversation. So,
all right. So you don't really do the whole team meeting thing that much. It's more of a one-on-one, as you said. But your team did have a team meeting when it was kind of rock bottom, and it seems like from that point on, Carlos, I don't know if things loosened up a bit, but they have been playing better. From what you know, what was said in that meeting with the players?
Yeah, look, that was the right timing because, I remember talking to some of the coaches, like, I'm getting the room together, and because we need to get them together today. And, 5-10 minutes later after the game was over, it's like, hey, Lindor called out a meeting, and I was like, perfect. So, we talk about accountability. There was a lot of things that I felt like players got off their chest that they needed to say and challenge each other, like at the end of the day, we needed to be better. Whether it was preparation, whether they compete, or we needed to do something about it. The style of play that we were going through, and I'm glad that they did it. They're all saying it. It's like, man, one of the best meetings I've ever been a part. They saying that publicly now, and I thought it was important for them to get together and just basically call each other out. I'm glad they did it, and it started by Lindor. That's why he is who he is. But we got a lot of veterans in that group that make things a little bit easier here.
More adversity, Carlos, you're going to have to face as Marte's been placed on the 10-day IL. How do you fill in for him? How much of a loss is that going to be for your club?
Yeah, it's a big loss. Obviously, he's been a huge part of this team, offensively, defensively with his arm, running the bases, being a force for us in the middle of a lineup. But look, nobody's going to feel sorry for us. And that's the challenge that every team goes through, on 162. We're not the only one dealing with adversity. And at the end of the day, we have to find a way. That's what it comes down to. It's the big league, it's the New York Mets, and here we are trying to fight for a playoff spot. And look, man, guys will step up. We called up Ben Gamel. We got Tyrone Taylor, DJ Stewart. Jeff McNeil can go in the outfield and play a little bit there if we need to. So I will continue to mix and match and use all the players on the active roster, and we'll get through it.
Now, one thing that I really love that you've done, we're starting with Carlos Mendoza, the manager of the Mets, is, listen, if a guy's not playing, he's going to sit. I mean, you did that with McNeil, and obviously you played Iglesias, who has really been a spark plug for you. What do you think has gone wrong with McNeil so far?
Yeah, it's been hard for him. It's been a tough season for him. Even when he's feeling good at the plate, like we saw it on Sunday. He went 0 for 4 and hit 3 bullets at people. Like when things are not going your way, like it's hard. And he's been through a lot, but he continued to work hard. He continued to show up every day and put in the work. Continue to make adjustments. Continue to watch film. Get with the hitting coaches. Talking to players. And look, this is a guy that won a batting title not too long ago. I don't think he just forgot how to hit out of nowhere, all of a sudden. So I truly believe that, Jeff McNeil will turn things around, and I will continue to play him and trying to get him going.
How has Pete Alonso handled everything that comes with being in a walk year and also, being a leader of a team? How difficult has that been for him to deal with?
Look, he's been great. I don't think he's been difficult at all. Obviously, there's always going to be noise. There's always going to be speculations and things like that. At the end of the day, Pete shows up every day with the same attitude, same mentality. He's a gamer. He wants to win. He wants it so bad. And he brings energy. He's intense. And I think, look, this is my first year around the guy, and I love him. Just, how intense he is, how much he wants to win, how much he cares. And he enjoys playing here in New York, obviously. So I don't think he's, all the noise and everything outside of our locker room here is affecting him at all. And now we're seeing, starting to come through and seeing the player that we know he's capable of offensively. So that's a good sign because he can carry a team for a long time. So, here we are.
All right, so Edwin Diaz gets caught with something on his hand Sunday, sticky stuff, and they throw him out, which leads to a 10-game suspension. You have the Yankees these 2 games. You have the Astros this weekend. And he chose not to appeal, which could have delayed this for a while. Why no appeal?
Yeah, because of that. Like, we didn't want this cloud to continue to hang over the club. It was like, let's move on, let's get it over with, and start serving your suspension here. Let's get the 10 games out of the way right away. The more we wait, I don't think it was worth it. Obviously, he talked to his people, his agent. We talked to him, and we decided that it was best for Edwin and the team to just get it over with and start serving his suspension.
All right, so I'm curious about this, though. though, Carlos. Domingo Germán had it on his hands, and they had him wash his hands. Why didn't they give Diaz the opportunity to wash his hands? It wasn't on his uniform. It wasn't on his glove. Why not give him the opportunity? Why do umpires sometimes let you wash your hands? Other times they don't.
Yeah, my understanding is, Michael, that when they see something on the hand, whether it's the coloring, which is dark, but they don't feel as sticky, they just say, they give the guys a chance, go wash your hands, and then come back and pitch. That wasn't the case, according to Vic, that day. It was like, this is too much. And look, Edwin was pretty honest at the moment. It's like, hey, man, like, I got nothing to hide here. It's Rosen and Sweat. Obviously, the one thing that, talking to Edwin afterwards, like, it was the conditions, obviously. It was for the first time pitching, it was hot and humid. Early in the year, it was so cold here in New York, and at the beginning of the year, then he went down, and he kept going to the Rosen, and what make the hands sticky. So I think there's one of those where Vic felt like, I can't give him a chance to go wash your hands because this is a little too much. They check hands all the time. Obviously, I believe Edwin, but, they make the decisions. The rules obviously are there for it, and then, Vic, like I said, Vic make the decision.
Nah, but I guess what bothered me, and listen, I'm a fan, Carlos, but if that happened to me, I would want to put up more of a fight. I felt like Diaz was way more accepting to things, considering he's going to get a 10-game suspension on top of this. If he felt he was wronged, I don't know why he seemed to accept everything the way that he did.
Yeah, look, and I was pissed. I was pissed too, even though I probably didn't show it much. But, it was one of those where, like, Vic was very convinced that it was too much. Again, that was my first time feeling or seeing a hand right there in person. And, it's hard for me to compare. But listening to Vic, it was like, I got to do it. So, again, Edwin was pretty honest. He was like, hey, man, like, I'm a man here, like, I'm telling you what's going on. But it was, too late, I guess.
So is Reed Garrett closed for you, or will it be matchup?
It'll be matchup. I feel like, I will continue to piece it together. I feel like if in the 7th inning, the game's on the line, or in the 8th inning, where they at in the lineup, where we at offensively, bullpen-wise, I'll continue to mix and match, and we get to the 9th inning, and it's not Reed Garrett because I use him in the 7th with 2 on and against their best hitters. Then I will continue to do that.
So it's 2 games, and in all likelihood, you'll get like 16 plate appearances between Soto and Judge. Do you plan to throw them any strikes?
We'll see. I mean, they're pretty special. I've seen Judgy up close for a long time, and when he's locked in, he's a pretty special hitter. So we'll be ready for him. We'll see.
Now, ultimately, the decision to have Severino pitch on Sunday, Peterson pitch today, is that a lefty-righty situation, Carlos, or is it just the fact that, hey, you're battling the Cubs for wild card position, that game Sunday was more important?
Well, look, every game's important. We're going to every game knowing that, hey, we got to win this game. Everyone counts, right? But I think it was just more matchup based. We wanted the righty facing the Cubs, and we wanted some of our lefties facing the Yankees. So, but as far as the importance of the game, every one of them counts. Everyone matters. Yeah, I get the fact that the Cubs for potential tiebreaker, but it was just more when we talk about when we were wrestling with the ideas. Obviously the players needed to be on board. I talked to Savvy because I knew he was going to be disappointed that he wasn't going to get to face the Yankees. But he was like, I'm ready to do whatever you guys feel is best for the team. So we decided to go that route, and I'm glad it worked out on Sunday. And I'm hoping that I'm expecting Peter to go out there and pitch a really good game against the Yankees tonight.
I know you've got some things to do. So before we let you go, does it mean I know you saw them in spring training, but that doesn't count. These are games that count. Both teams would like to win these games. You're going up against a guy who was 4 years for his bench coach. You've been in the Yankee organization forever. What does this mean to you, Carlos, this series?
Yeah, it's special. There's a lot of people in that organization that I have a lot of respect for. And obviously they are a great team. They got off to an unbelievable start, and we have a really good team here. And we started to play really well the past couple of weeks or so. So these games are important. Obviously, you're playing in the greatest city in the world, right? And there's two fan bases that are very passionate. They're intense. It'll be electric. I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to it, and it'll be fun. But again, a lot of people in the other side that I have a lot of respect, but at the end of the day, when we're going between the lines, we're trying to beat each other. So
I will tell everybody this that's listening to the show. If you don't know Carlos Mendoza that well, I will tell you that not only did the Mets get a great baseball man, but they got a great man. He's a great guy, and the Mets should be lucky, and they're fortunate to have a guy like you, Carlos. So I only wish you great success. You know that.
Thanks, Michael. I really appreciate it.
All right, and you're going to have to pay me some money to drop by the office if you want this to continue.
Wow.
I'll see you behind the cage, MVP.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Carlos.
Thanks, Carlos.
That is Carlos Mendoza, the Met manager. He is a terrific dude. And you know what? To keep a team together when their May was as bad as it was, Don and Peter, I mean, they had the worst record in baseball. I mean, Don, at that point, you said they should break it up right now, and a lot of people felt like that. And somehow they dug down. Now, their pitching's not good. I don't think their pitching is good enough. Their hitting is not bad. If you look at what their hitting has done, and somehow they've made it work with the pitching, pieced it together, if they could get back Senga and then make a trade for another starting pitcher, they might be in decent shape, Don.
Well, they're definitely benefiting from what is a really weak National League. I mean, it's still a team that's trying to climb above 500 after that 0-5 start. Really kind of dug a hole, but it's been kind of up and down. But June has been terrific for them. Continue to win series. And McNeil's not hitting, and now you're going to have to go without Marte. That's not nothing, Michael, to lose him, and now you got Diaz now suspended. So they're going to face some adversity here as we close out the month of June. But I give him credit for a first-year manager to have to deal with a bunch of one-year contracts with, the expectations being as low as they are. And he didn't look at it as a challenge. He looked at it as an opportunity. And so far, they seem to be taking advantage of it. And you've got Cohen. You've got the chance to add some payroll. So what I said at the time about breaking it up is show me something, and they've certainly shown more than that they deserve to be a team that to watch and see what they can do. July 31st is a long way away, but so far they've at least deserved a chance to see what they can do here.
You know what? And I think that what happened with the Diamondbacks last year allows everybody to dream. If you have two decent starting pitchers and you can hit, you got a chance. Diamondbacks had three real good starting pitchers. And you know what? They made it to the World Series. All you have to do is get hot in October. You get past the wild card series, then the 5-game set, then the best of 7. And you know what? You look up and all of a sudden you're playing really important games in October. So I'm not saying that that's going to happen for them, but at least they've made the summer interesting, at least the beginning of the summer. Because when they were 10-25 over that 35-game stretch, it looked like it was being a lost summer, that they would have to fight the Marlins and the Nationals to stay out of last place. And right now, they're a game and a half out of a wild card. They still got some teams to jump over. One of the teams, though, they swept, the San Diego Padres. So I'm not saying that this team is going to run away and hide. They're not that good. They're not good enough to do that. But they got spunk, and you like spunk. And they got a manager who's really smart and well-respected, and he kept this team together. I don't think that's something to just be dismissed. They get to 500. They're at 37-39, and then you start to talk.
Also, I mean, if you're Mendoza, in the sort of microwave sports world we live in, how many throwaway years do you get in a sport?
You don't. I think it's a great point.
So, this recovery may be the difference between him keeping this job for a while or not. I mean, I know that it would have been way too soon to talk about, what do they do with Mendoza, but we know how it works. That's where we'd be at the end of the year. So, props to him, man.
No, I mean,
the temperature was turned up, and he's responded, and so have they.
Buck won 101 games, was fired after the next year. So, I mean, it's what have you done for me lately? So, I think they're behind him. I think David Stearns is behind him, and Cohen is behind him. And you know what? He is very, very well respected throughout baseball. If he didn't get the Met job, he's going to get another job. The Yankees loved him, but obviously they have a manager and they love him as well. But Mendoza was always highly thought of, and that's why he was Boone's bench coach for 4 years.
Now they are home, but without Marte, without Diaz, 2 games against the Yankees, off day on Thursday, and then Houston comes to town, and they've won 5 in a row, and they look like they've turned it around a bit. So they're going to get tested. They're going to continue to get tested, Michael, here with this schedule and with as shorthanded as they are. And then they get a little bit of a break when they go to Washington before, and then Pittsburgh.
And, Washington's in front of them, too, Don.
Yeah, they're right. So, but I just think you just want to play winning baseball and continue to do the best that you can. But the schedule gets tougher, and no Marte, no Diaz. We'll see. They've been up and down, and they're kind of set up right now based on the schedule and the injuries and the suspensions of going back down again. So I think this is a very interesting week for them to keep their head above water and stay in this race.
Now, Peter, I know that you're loath to give me any love. Loathe. L-O-A-T-H-E. Loathe.
I know the word. Thanks.
You heard the manager say, please drop by, because he knew things turned when he saw the Caster in London. He admitted it. I didn't even bring it up.
Right. But does it bother you that if he was talking to Grimace, he would have said
I don't think so.
Well,
first of all, I don't think Grimace is verbal.
That's not for you to judge. I'm not comfortable with it, but
I don't know. I don't know the answer.
I don't judge Grimace.